Have you ever wondered what lies beyond the stars? We talk about heaven, but did you know the Bible speaks of not just one, but 3 heavens? Why don't more people talk about this? What if I told you that the understanding of these 3 distinct heavens could change your entire perception of life after death? Stick with me as we unravel this fascinating mystery, and I promise by the end of this video, you'll never look at the sky the same way again. Heaven. It's a place we often associate with peace, eternal rest, and divine beauty. Many envision it as a place filled with radiant light, where choirs of angels sing praises in breathtaking surroundings full of gold, silver, and dazzling gemstones. While this image of heaven is certainly awe-inspiring, it's not the complete story. In fact, the Bible gives us a deeper and more layered understanding of what heaven truly is, and it speaks of 3 different heavens. You might be surprised to learn that the Bible presents heaven not as a single realm, but as 3 distinct levels. Each heaven has its own significance and role in the divine order. The first, second, and third heavens are mentioned explicitly in the scriptures, but many people overlook this fascinating detail. Let's dive in and explore the 3 heavens and what each represents. The first heaven, the sky above us. When we think of the sky, the vast expanse of clouds, birds flying high, and the blue atmosphere stretching above, it's easy to take it for granted. Yet, this is what the Bible refers to as the first heaven. It's the heaven we can see with our eyes, the one we are most familiar with. This heaven includes the physical universe, the stars, the sun, the moon, and everything that lies within our natural sight. In Genesis 1:6-8, God created the firmament, which is essentially the sky above the earth. This is the first layer of heaven, the place where the birds fly and the clouds gather. But this is only the beginning. The first heaven is a glimpse of something much greater. Above this, beyond what we can see with our eyes, lies the second heaven. The second heaven, the celestial realm. The second heaven is where things get truly interesting. In biblical terms, the second heaven is often seen as the celestial realm. It's where spiritual beings, angels, and even Satan himself dwell and engage in spiritual warfare. In the book of Daniel, we see a clear example of this battle in the heavens. Daniel fasted and prayed for 21 days, and when the angel Gabriel finally reached him, he explained that he had been delayed because of a battle with the prince of Persia in the second heaven. Gabriel needed the help of the archangel Michael to overcome this spiritual resistance. This paints a picture of the second heaven as a realm where angels and demons wage war over humanity's souls and God's divine plans. It's a place of intense spiritual activity, often invisible to us, but nonetheless real and impactful. The second heaven is not a place of peace. It's a place of ongoing conflict between good and evil forces. The third heaven, paradise, and the dwelling place of God. And now, we reach the highest heaven, the third heaven. This is the heaven that most of us think about when we imagine the afterlife. It's where God himself resides, the ultimate paradise. The Apostle Paul refers to this in 2 Corinthians 12:2-4, where he describes being caught up to the third heaven. Paul tells us that this is a place so sacred, so holy, that human language cannot fully capture it. He mentions hearing inexpressible words, words that no man is allowed to repeat. This suggests that the third heaven is beyond our earthly understanding, a place of unimaginable beauty and purity. In the third heaven, we find paradise. It's the final destination for those who have lived lives of faith and repentance. When Jesus was crucified, he promised the repentant thief beside him that, "Today you will be with me in paradise." Luke 23:43. This paradise is not just a garden of peace and rest, but the very presence of God, where his glory shines eternally. What about the middle heaven? Interestingly, the Bible also mentions a middle heaven, a concept that isn't often discussed in sermons or teachings. In the book of Revelation, John describes angels flying in the midst of heaven, proclaiming messages to the earth. Revelation 8:13, 14:6, 19:17. This middle heaven, or Mesura Nema in Greek, is a bit mysterious. It seems to be a space between the visible sky, the first heaven, and the paradise of God, the third heaven. Some scholars interpret this as the second heaven, the realm of spiritual warfare, while others see it as a distinct middle layer. Regardless, it's a crucial part of the divine order, where angels carry out God's commands and deliver his messages to earth. The role of angels in the heavens. Now, let's talk about the inhabitants of these heavens, angels. The Bible often refers to angels as messengers of God, sent from heaven to guide, protect, and sometimes even fight on behalf of humanity. Not all angels, however, are good. The Bible tells us that Satan and his fallen angels also operate in the heavenly realms. This explains the ongoing spiritual warfare in the second heaven. In Daniel 10, we see the battle between God's angels and the forces of darkness, a conflict that still continues today. Guardian angels, warrior angels, and messenger angels all have different roles, but they share one purpose: to fulfill God's will. Whether they are delivering divine messages, protecting the vulnerable, or engaging in spiritual battles, these heavenly beings play an integral role in the cosmic order, the great conflict in the heavens. Many Christians believe that heaven is a place of perfect peace and harmony, but the Bible shows us a different picture, at least in the first and second heavens. The third heaven, where God resides, is indeed a place of peace, but the second heaven is described as a battleground. In Revelation 12:7-9, we read about a great war in heaven, where Michael and his angels fight against the dragon, Satan, and his angels. Satan is eventually cast out of heaven, but until that time comes, he continues to accuse and attack God's people, both in heaven and on earth. This spiritual conflict is not limited to the heavenly realms, it impacts us here on earth as well. The Bible warns us to be aware of Satan's schemes as he roams the earth seeking to devour, 1 Peter 5:8. The battle for our souls is ongoing, and the heavens play a central role in this divine drama.